All right, today we're going to be doing something called symptom grouping, and this is a method I use in our free one-on-one menopause coaching consultation. This allows us to simplify the approach we use to address menopause symptoms. Because when it comes to menopause, there can be over 60 plus potential symptoms we can experience during this transition. And if we try to address each one individually, it can feel quite overwhelming. So, instead, what we do is we group these symptoms into 4 to 5 core areas. And if we can focus on these key areas, we can resolve multiple symptoms all at once, making this process feel so much faster, less stressful, and far, far more effective. And what we're going to do is we're going to do an interactive exercise, and I'm going to need you to grab a pen and paper. So feel free to just pause the video right now to collect these 2 items. And now I'm going to guide you through different symptoms. And if you experience, or if you have experienced or currently experiencing any of them, whether it's a mild experience of symptoms like a few times a week, or you experience them quite frequently, like every single day or multiple times a day, I want you to write them down. So no matter how severe or mild these symptoms are, make sure you write them down. And if we don't cover something specific in this exercise, feel free to ask our Facebook group community where I can provide you some additional guidance. So to go ahead and get started off with, if you have any of the following symptoms, I want you to write it down. If you don't have any of these symptoms, do not write it down. And what we're going to do is we're going to, on the piece of paper from that previous slide, create 5 different columns. So you're going to have column 1 with a little line, and we'll write down the name of what that column is soon. Column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. So underneath the first column, if you have any of these symptoms, I want you to write those down. So with the symptoms, I'm going to explain them in this category. So if you're experiencing joint pain, like knee pain, hip pain, or pain in your fingers and joints, go ahead and jot that one down. If you're experiencing hot flushes, this deals with difficulty regulating your body temperature, write that down. If you're experiencing headaches, they can be mild or severe. Skin changes. So during menopause, we can get menopausal acne, a crawling sensation across the skin, a burning sensation on the skin, on our hands or feet. Make sure to write that one down. Night sweats, if you're experiencing that, that will wake you up during the course of your sleeping period. You can write and jot down night sweats. Puffy feelings, so water retention or unexplained swelling, or vaginal dryness and UTIs that are reoccurring. This can also deal with issues like genital burning, irritation, or frequent urinary tract infections. So if you've had any of those symptoms in column 1, make sure you write down the ones that you are currently experiencing. And if you didn't experience them, just leave them out. All right, so in our next category, column number 2, these are some of the symptoms that you might be experiencing, and if so, write them down. So the first one is brain fog. This is like forgetfulness, struggling to think clearly. From there, we have trouble focusing. So this might be difficulty staying on task. Bloating and acid reflux. This can feel like discomfort after meals or feeling overfull. Bowel changes, so having issues with constipation, diarrhea, or frequent stools. A lack of motivation, so feeling over emotional, feeling physically flat, or having rapid mood swings. If you had any of those ones, make sure you jot them down under column 2. Next, we're moving into column number 3. If you've experienced any of these, make sure to write them down. So the first one being fatigue. This could be having major energy crashes throughout the day, as well as irritability. Also broken sleep or insomnia, trouble staying asleep or waking up quite frequently, as well as muscle soreness. If you're feeling achy or stiff, even without physical exercise, make sure to write that down. All right, moving into column number 4. If you have any of these symptoms, make sure to jot them under column number 4, which is things like bladder changes. This could be increased urgency or leaking, as well as difficulty holding our urine, as well as low libido. This could be decreased desire for intimacy, pain during intercourse, discomfort or sensitivity. That's what that can feel like, as well as having issues with like prolapse. From there, we have our last category, which is category number 5. If you're having issues with weight gain, particularly around like your core, your midsection, or around your face. I want you to jot that down under category number 5. As well as changes in fat distribution that's related to weight gain. So that could be fat shifting to the midsection, chest, and back. All right, so under category number 5 as well, if you're experiencing any of these symptoms like frozen shoulder, which is like stiffness or difficulty moving your shoulder, vertigo, that's that dizziness or balance-based issue, itchy ears, so an unexplained itching inside the ear, I want you to jot those down too. And I do want to make a note. Obviously, this isn't all 60 symptoms extensively. We do have a list of more symptoms in our menopause manual. So if you haven't already seen that, I might just post a link to it at the end of the slide, as well as that is in our Facebook group chat. That will give you access to some more of these symptoms if there's something that you didn't see, as well as you can always post that symptom into the Facebook group and we can respond back to you with some resources. But also, a little side note, one thing that women will experience during perimenopause is menstrual cycle changes, and that's not listed here. And that is something that we cannot change as menopause specialist providers. So if you're experiencing shorter, heavier periods, longer periods, lighter periods, these are natural shifts in our cycle. And we can't do anything about that change because that's just how our menstrual cycle comes to an end as we go through menopause. However, we can help you in regards to adjusting your nutrition. So if you're experiencing really heavy cycles and we look at your blood markers and iron levels are quite low, we can help you increase your iron uptake for heavier periods and offer pain management strategies as well. But coming into this, now we're going to have the big reveal. I feel like I need to do a little bit of a drum roll of what each of these categories correlates to as a root cause issue. So now that we've written down what our symptoms are, these are the categories. So category number 1, if you wrote any symptoms underneath there, the root cause issue for that is regarding inflammation. And as mentioned in our menopause manual, we address simple steps to help address these root causes to help alleviate majority of these inflammation-based issues. Next, under category number 2 is gut health. So if you're experiencing any of those issues with brain fog and bowel movements and mood swings, those are all a gut health-based issue. From there, we have sleep and cortisol issues, so dealing with issues of fatigue and irritability and muscle soreness, poor recovery. From there, we have pelvic floor health issues as the 4th category. And then the 5th category is standalone. So if you're experiencing any issues like frozen shoulder, itchy ears, vertigo, these are all standalone based issues, and we have specific ways to correct them in the menopause manual as they don't fit under one of these 4 areas. And I do want to highlight when it comes to weight gain, you need to write a little asterisk beside it if you are experiencing this. Is they are correlated with issue 1, 2, and 3. So if you're experiencing weight gain, you generally have issues with inflammation, gut health, and sleep cortisol issues. So if you address all 3 of those categories, bonus, win-win, you're going to get weight gain release, which is phenomenal. So now that you have your symptoms grouped, give yourself a little pat on the back. You've just done a huge task and removed something that's incredibly overwhelming and simplified it into 4 to 5 core main areas that are going to help you manage your menopause so much easier. So by focusing on these areas, you'll not only start to feel better, but you'll also naturally reduce issues like weight gain in the process. So a lot of scores on the board here. And now that you have your root causes, you can look at your menopause manual to start working on those root causes. And instead of taking each symptom on individually,